It seems that rapper T.I. and his son King are at odds yet again. Not long ago, T.I. almost laid into his son for disrespecting him publicly. Now, King Harris is slamming his father for not accepting his older girlfriend, who was also expecting his child. Yes, you heard that right. King Harris is about to become a father. His girlfriend, Chia, is pregnant, and her decision to have a baby with King Harris is certainly an interesting one, considering their young age and King's immature behavior. T.I. is not convinced that King is ready for fatherhood, and he worries that the responsibility of raising their new grandchild will fall on him and his wife, Tiny. If you've ever watched T.I. and Tiny's reality show or seen interactions between T.I. and King, then you probably know that the two struggle to get along. The news of King having a baby at just 20 years old, particularly when his parents believe he's far from prepared for the role of a father, isn't likely to make him T.I.'s favorite son anytime soon. For a while, T.I. avoided commenting on the situation because of how strained his relationship with King is. However, T.I.'s temper is known to flare when something doesn't sit right with him, and he eventually made his thoughts known. He made it abundantly clear that he doesn't believe King is ready to be a father, and neither T.I. nor Tiny is thrilled about the prospect of having to be more involved than they would like in raising their grandchild. While having a child is always a blessing, many on the internet seem to side with T.I. on this one, questioning why a young man who just turned 20 is preparing to become a father. Since deciding to pursue a rap career, King has been trying to portray a gangster persona, seemingly in an attempt to get his career credibility. Unfortunately, most of his efforts have come off as immature, childish, and disingenuous. Unlike his father, who grew up in Bankhead and was genuinely about that street life, King has had a vastly different upbringing. King Harris grew up with a silver spoon in his mouth, living in a gated community with both parents present. T.I. and Tiny made sure that King and his siblings had a comfortable, well-provided-for childhood. Despite this, King seems intent on proving himself to others, attempting to fit into a street lifestyle that couldn't be further from his own reality. At one point, tensions ran so high between father and son that T.I. confronted King, telling him that he wasn't raised poor or like a gangster. He even brought up the fact that King was still using a pacifier until he was 12 years old. In one heated exchange, King tried to justify his behavior by claiming he wanted to experience the rougher lifestyle his father had lived. He insisted that he wanted to be outside the gated community and resented having to live such a protected life. However, T.I. countered his son's claims, pointing out that King had no real understanding of hardship or the streets. The argument escalated, with King trying to defend his image and T.I. calling out the absurdity of his son's behavior. After the messy public fight with his father, King took to Instagram to slam T.I., writing, "I stand on business, I don't give a who you are," and adding, "I don't care who you are. Nobody can play with me in my face. Not going for that. I'm a grown man now." Despite his claims of maturity, many people viewed King's actions as nothing more than a temper tantrum. He spoke as if his grandmother, Tiny's mom, lived in a trap house in a rough neighborhood, which couldn't be further from the truth. His grandmother, like the rest of his family, is well off, and King has no idea what it's really like to live in the streets. Ironically, it's the privileged life that King resents that has given him the platform he enjoys today. It seems that King is determined to learn things the hard way, which is something that T.I. has reluctantly come to accept. T.I. has previously tried to show King tough love, especially after an incident 2 years ago when King was arrested. At that point, T.I. decided to let life be King's teacher, acknowledging that there was only so much he could do. He stated, "Stop hitting me and getting in my comments telling me what to tell King. I know my son. You think I ain't speaking to my son? Think I ain't told my son?" His mama and his grandma talked to him. "He's going to prison if he keeps this up. Ain't no way around it." T.I. has already had numerous conversations with King about his behavior. He said, "I was that energy. I know exactly how it's going to turn out." T.I. knows that his son will need to face the consequences of his actions and hopes that the lessons he learns will help him grow. Despite his tough love approach, T.I. emphasized that he would continue to love King through whatever challenges he faces, trusting that life will ultimately teach his son what he needs to learn. T.I. explained, "King's a good kid chasing after the wrong stuff. I trust in God to deal with it the way he sees fit." He acknowledged that King is trying to convince himself of certain things, just as many young people do in trying to find their identity. He believes that eventually, King will learn who he truly is and that the lessons will come when he least expects them. As T.I. waits for King to grow up and learn some hard truths, King delivered some news of his own. He's going to be a father. King's girlfriend, known on Instagram as Big Nana, is pregnant, and while little is known about her, it's clear that she's made a significant choice by having a child with King. Judging by her social media presence, she seems unfazed by the controversy surrounding her relationship with King, and she has responded to comments by proudly standing by her decisions. When T.I. was informed of the pregnancy, his reaction was both humorous and resigned. He said, "He just became a father. I got 2 grandchildren now, a grandson on the way." T.I. joked that he would raise King's son to be the greatest gangster of all time, and that the child would torture King the way King tortured me. Despite the jest, it was clear that T.I. had come to accept that there was little he could do to change the situation, and he was determined to be as involved as possible in his grandchild's life. However, King didn't take kindly to his father's comments. When he learned of T.I.'s public statements, he confronted his father, expressing his disappointment that T.I. wasn't being more positive about his relationship and impending fatherhood. T.I. didn't sugarcoat his feelings. He made it clear that he wasn't going to pretend to be happy about King becoming a father when he believed King wasn't ready for the responsibility. The news of King's impending fatherhood has sparked numerous reactions online, with most people agreeing that he isn't ready to take on the role of a parent. One commenter wrote, "King Harris got someone pregnant, and last I remember, he couldn't spell tomorrow." Another remarked, "I'd rather be impregnated by that face hugger from Alien than see that boy above me huffing and puffing." The concern isn't just about King's ability to be a father, but also about the kind of genetic traits he might pass on. Some people have also criticized T.I.'s parenting, pointing out that T.I. spent years spoiling King, only to now publicly criticize and chastise him for his behavior. One person commented, "How do you spoil a child all his life? Don't discipline him. Then criticize, chastise, and publicly shame him for the spoiled monster he created." It's a sentiment that speaks to the difficulty of raising children in the public eye, especially when they grow up with wealth and privilege. Parenthood is no easy task, and raising a child well is incredibly costly and time-consuming. Some people believe that having a child might be exactly what King needs to finally slow down, mature, and take on more responsibility. It could be the push that helps him grow into the man that T.I. hope he can become one. However, others believe that King's immaturity and reckless behavior will only lead to more problems down the road, both for him and his future child. For now, King appears to be embracing his soon-to-be role as a father, but whether he is truly ready remains to be seen. T.I. is prepared to step in as needed, but he is also letting life take its course, understanding that King will ultimately have to face the consequences of his choices. In the end, the situation between T.I., King, and the entire Harris family serves as a cautionary tale about fame, privilege, and the complexities of raising children in the public eye. Despite their differences, T.I. has made it clear that he will always love his son, and that he hopes King will eventually learn from his mistakes and grow into a responsible adult. As for whether or not King Harris is ready to be a father, that remains to be seen. What are your thoughts on this situation? Do you think King Harris is prepared to be a father? Feel free to share your opinions in the comments below. And don't forget to like this video and subscribe for more updates. See you in the next video.